Hello students, welcome to today's class. Today we are continuing the microbes in human welfare, two very important topics from which flat questions comes in your board examination, that is microbes in sewage treatment and microbes in biogas production. We are going to concentrate today. So microbes in sewage treatment, in this particular topic, before going into what are the various steps of the treatment of the sewage, one should first understand what is this term sewage. See, sewage means any kind of biological waste which is coming out of our household activities, like the domestic waste, or which contains the organic substance in it, which otherwise if is present into the water and this water is untreated and is sent to the water bodies like the rivers or the surface water which is used by the people for their daily activities, can be so dangerous that not only the health of the individuals will be affected, but also it may lead to spread of epidemics. So that's the reason why the microbes, utility of the microbes in the sewage treatment is being undertaken. Now, to do it in a large scale, large sewage treatment plants are set up in various parts of our country. Especially the river Ganga, which is the lifeline of our country. There has been a lot of spending of money on this cleaning of the river Ganga, and one such step taken by the government, which is in the form of Ganga Action Plan, crores of rupees has been invested in setting up of the sewage treatment plant in various places through which the Ganga river passes, and especially the places which are of holy faith attached. So those places, that is formation of the sewage treatment plant has been taken up on a large scale by the Ministry of Environment and Forest Department. Now, the microbes in sewage treatment, we have to categorize the sewage treatment into two steps. Now, what are these two steps? One is called as your primary treatment, and another one is called as your secondary treatment. Now, primary and secondary treatment, what does it mean is that at first the water containing the sewage is allowed to pass through a tank where it will undergo the process of sedimentation and filtration. Sedimentation and filtration, why? Because there will be some solid substances, semi-solid substances, so they will be settling down. So sedimentation will take place and filtration will take place. Why? How will the filtration take place? You very well know that when you were in the junior classes, how to purify the water. In that you have used up various particles, like for example you have used sand, you have used bricks, you have used grit. So when through such kind of tunnels the water containing the sewage is allowed to pass through, then the filtration process takes place and gradually the heavy particles, they settle down, and here some chemicals are also sometimes utilized for the settling down process to make it faster. Like for example alum helps in the loading process, so that the particles can load and they can settle down at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. So primary treatment of the sewage is done in this way by the two methods. One is called the filtration and another one is called the sedimentation. So after this water from the primary treatment is filtered and the sedimentation has taken place, now this will undergo the second most important part of the sewage treatment, that is called the secondary treatment. Now, what is this secondary treatment? Now, secondary treatment has further being divided into two steps. Now, what are these two steps is that at first they will be treated by the microorganisms which are aerobic. Okay, so aerobic treatment, and another one will be your anaerobic treatment. Another one will be your anaerobic treatment. So in the tanks from where the primary treated water will come to the secondary treatment, that is the tanks will be having the organisms which are aerobic microorganisms. So what do you mean by this aerobic microorganisms? Means those organisms which require the constant supply of oxygen for the decomposition of the organic waste present in the water. So for this decomposition of the organic waste in the water, since oxygen is required, so frequent pumping up of the oxygen is taking place, and also addition of flocks or formation of flocks takes place. Now what are these flocks that you will be also coming across your NCERT book? Flocks are nothing but this is a mesh like structure, a network like structure formed between that of the bacteria and that of the fungus. Filamentous fungus with that of the bacteria, which are aerobic, which will be doing the decomposition of the organic waste present in the tank, the aerobic tank, where the oxygenation or oxygen is pumped regularly into that tank. So gradually it will again lead to the formation of that is your sediments. Now this sediment which will be formed, this one is called as your activated sludge. Okay, this is called as your activated sludge. This term also you are going to get it, that is called as your activated sludge. Now what is the meaning of this activated sludge? Is that sludge or that semi-solid substance which is having the microorganisms, which has undergone the cleaning up of the organic waste from the water, which has come from primary treatment to the secondary treatment tank. Now here you will also come across one term which is called as your BOD. It is called as your BOD. Now this is very important. BOD, what does it mean? Is that biological oxygen demand. Now what is this biological oxygen demand? Is that it is the oxygen required to clean up 1 liter of water from the organic waste. Try to understand what I am telling. Suppose you have a container, and in that container you have 1 liter of water which is having organic waste in it. So the amount of oxygen that will be required by the microorganisms to decompose or to degrade completely that water and make it free from the organic waste will be called as your BOD. Oxygen required to remove the biological waste completely from 1 liter of water, that is called as your BOD, biological oxygen demand. So from this definition it is very clear that if the amount of oxygen required to clean up 1 liter of water is more, if we compare various samples of water, and in one sample we see that the oxygen requirement is less, another sample we see the oxygen requirement is more. So what does it signify? It signifies that more the polluted water is with respect to the sewage, more will be the BOD, more will be the demand of oxygen to clean it. Got it? So this type of questions also sometimes comes, that if the level of BOD is higher in a water, what does it signify? So then in that case you have to say that it contains more of sewage or more of organic waste in it. So that's the reason why oxygen requirement is more to clean that water. Fine. Now these are all the things. So after it is being done, that means the activated sludge has settled down, and also from this activated sludge some of the flocks are again pumped back into the aeration tank, so that the continuity of the process can be maintained, because it's not that for one step it is going to be purified and after that there is no sewage treatment plant cleaning the water and all, because it's a regular process. Every day the waste is generated, gallons of polluted water is generated, so it has to be in a continuous process. So that's why from the activated sludge small amount of your flocks are collected and it is pumped back into the aeration tank, so that the process can be continued further. Fine. Now from this the water is now pumped by means of small canals. It's in open of course, and it goes to a tank which is containing now the anaerobic situation, where there will be anaerobic treatment. That means all the waste will not be completely degraded by the aerobic microorganisms. There can be some waste which is not being decomposed by that of the aerobic microorganisms. For that we need anaerobic microorganisms. So that's the reason why in the secondary treatment 2 steps are followed. First the aeration tank, where the oxygen is used or pumped and the microorganisms act upon it, and then from there the water is channelized to another tank where there are the microorganisms which are anaerobic in nature. Here there is no pumping of oxygen, and here they are finally degraded completely of the organic waste by the help of the anaerobic microorganisms. Now from that tank, now this water are being sent to the open water bodies like that of the river or some man-made lakes and all, and this water is purified from that of any kind of microorganisms or any kind of organic waste, and this can be utilized by the human beings for doing their daily activities without any danger sign. That means it does not contain any polluting agent in it, rather it's completely free, it's clean, and of course some treatment like the water can be chlorinated also. So once the water is chlorinated, it's so pure that it is same like that of the drinking water. So this is how the sewage treatment is done with the help of the microorganisms, which otherwise would have been so dangerous. That means since fresh waters are so less, so if this constant process of this treatment of the sewage water is not done, there will be a lot of scarcity of water. So for the renewal of the water, the sewage treatment by the application of both aerobic and anaerobic microorganisms are done for the benefit of the mankind. Now the next topic which has been discussed in your NCERT is microbes in biogas production. Microbes in biogas production, now we are going to take upon it. Now as we have been talking about the aerobic tanks and the anaerobic tanks where the microorganisms are acting upon by the organic waste and then converting them into activated sludge, along with that this activated sludge is also able to produce certain kind of gases. Now what are these gases? These gases are your methane. It will be your hydrogen sulfide, it can be your carbon dioxide, and togetherly they form a very good composition of gas, which we call it as your biogas or biological gas. Or sometimes in villages especially where the people are rearing up the cattles for the production of milk and all. So these animals generate a lot of organic waste, that is animal dung, and these dung contains a kind of bacteria. The name of that group of the bacteria is called your methanogenic bacteria. That means methane gas producing bacteria. So that's the reason why sometimes it is also known as your gobar gas, because it is produced from that of the animal dung. So biogas or gobar gas is very important in the sense here, if a little bit of first for the construction of the plant, biogas plant is only what is required, and after once it is constructed, since there is a lot of generation of this biological waste by the animal is there in the dairy farms and all, so it can be collected on a regular basis and it can be put into these tanks, that is your the biogas plant tanks, that is influence and effluence, that is from where the gas will be generated, and this gas by means of underground pipelines can be connected to that of the people's house, that is the village's house, where they can use it for the domestic purpose, for the cooking purpose. So the fuel problem can be solved to a large extent, and it's a low cost investment. Only the first time investment is there, and later on there is a very little of investment. Maintenance of course is there, which can be done by the villages on a regular basis, and this way the crisis for the domestic fuel can be sorted out to a large extent if the microbes, that is the methanogenic bacteria present in the animal dung, can be used for the generation of the biogas. Now I am going to show you one model made by a student who has tried actually, but the model is not as good, but it will give you just an idea that how the biogas plants can be made on a low cost level. Now this is biogas thing, that is a model created by the student, where this is the tank from where the slurry, that means the animal dungs or the organic waste, the domestic waste mixed with that of the water are being fed over here. There is a tube which will be taking this slurry to that of the main tank. Now here there are the things will be allowed to settle down and it will be allowed to decompose, and as a result of it the gas will be generated. The gas through this pipeline will be collected over there, and through this there will be some sort of outlets through which that is your people, villagers, can be getting the supply of the biogas on a regular basis. So it's a you can say a small model. It's a model which is made by the student, not a generalized or a big form of the biogas plant or the model, but the initiative should be appreciated. So if this way we can teach the people how to create the biogas plant in their own locality, then the problem of the that is shortage of fuel, cooking fuel, can be solved to a large extent. So that's it for today's class, in which we had studied up microbes in the sewage treatment plant, from where you get a lot of questions. That means, what do you mean by BOD? You get questions that in case of your secondary treatment, there are two types of tanks, aerobic and anaerobic. What happens in aerobic tanks? What do you mean by flocks? Why there is constant aeration or constant supply of oxygen given there? What do you mean by activated sludge? What is the importance of activated sludge being a small amount of flocks being collected and again pumping it back into the primary treatment, in the secondary treatments, aerobic tanks. Then what happens in case of anaerobic tanks? After the organisms are acted upon by the organic waste which is present in the anaerobic tanks, what happened to the water next? What can be done to make it, purified from that, of if any kind of obnoxious smell is there? So all those questions are quite commonly coming, and generally it is coming, okay, from this chapter of microbes in human welfare. Sewage treatment is a important topic from which these type of questions are coming. And of course, microbes in biogas, here you have to learn, or you have to know about the methanogenic bacteria, their role, and how with the low cost materials we can construct these biogas plants, and what is its utility, and that's it. So that's all for today's class. I hope you understood these two topics well.